She pounded on my door like it was a police raid. Open up. You're trespassing on HOA property. Her voice screamed from the porch. My coffee mug almost slipped from my hand. I glanced at my security camera feed. There she was, Karen, in her floral robe and sunglasses at 7 a.m., waving a clipboard like it was a weapon. I stepped outside calmly. You might want to lower your voice, ma'am, I said. You're on my property. Her nose flared. Not for long, she snapped. HOA has decided this land doesn't meet community standards. We've sent enforcement. Enforcement, I repeated, raising a brow. That's when two men stepped out from a black SUV parked across the street, wearing dark uniforms, badges flashing under their jackets. They walked toward me like they meant business. My heart slowed down, not sped up. Something about those badges looked off. Cheap metal, not issued ones. Karen smirked, arms crossed. They're here to remove you. You can take your stuff or they'll take it for you. I looked straight at her and said quietly, you sure you want to do this? She tilted her chin. You're done here, sheriff or not. I didn't say a word. Just pulled my phone out, tapped the hidden app that connected to my real law enforcement channel, and hit record. One of the fake cops barked, hands where we can see them. My daughter peeked from the window, her eyes wide, scared. That's when something inside me snapped. I slowly lifted my hands, but not out of fear, out of calm control. Before you do anything stupid, I said, you might want to check who you're really dealing with. Karen laughed, thinking she'd won. You're about to find out how this neighborhood handles people like you, she said, her voice dripping with fake power. I smiled slightly. Oh, trust me, I already know exactly how to handle people like you. The moment froze. The fake cops stepped closer. My phone kept recording, and Karen didn't realize her little operation was about to flip completely on her. Because this wasn't my first rodeo. I'd seen setups before. I'd led takedowns before. She had no clue. She'd just brought fake cops to the real sheriff's door. The taller fake cop reached for his belt, pretending to grab a taser, but his hand was shaking. Sir, step back, he ordered, voice cracking. Karen stood behind him like a queen giving orders to her guards. I took one slow step forward, eyes locked on his badge. That badge number's not real, I said quietly. Wanna know how I know? Karen snapped. Don't talk to them like that. They're officers of the law. I turned to her, calm but sharp. Officers of what law, Karen? HOA law. She froze for half a second. You're obstructing authority, she yelled, glancing nervously between me and the men. Arrest him already. The shorter one hesitated. Ma'am, maybe we should. Do it, she screamed. And that's when the sirens started. Real ones this time. From down the street, two marked county patrol cars came flying in, lights flashing. Karen's smile vanished instantly. The fake cop spun around in panic. I didn't move, just folded my arms. Guess your backup arrived, I said. The real deputies jumped out, guns drawn but steady. Sheriff, you okay? One of them called. Karen blinked fast. Sheriff, what? What do you mean? I turned my badge around my neck, the silver glint hitting her right in the eyes. Yeah, Karen, Sheriff Thomas Hayes. This is my home, and you just sent two impersonators to break down a law officer's door. Her mouth opened but no sound came out. The fake cops tried to back away, but the real ones already had them in cuffs within seconds. Karen stammered. I didn't know. They told me they were from the law enforcement team. I walked closer, my tone low but controlled. There's no such thing as law enforcement. You paid strangers to trespass on private property and impersonate law enforcement. You know what that's called, Karen. She stepped back, shaking. I didn't mean. Intent doesn't erase a felony, I said, looking her straight in the eyes. But don't worry. It's all on camera. The deputy beside me held up my phone, nodding. Got every second, Sheriff. Clean footage. Karen looked like the ground had been pulled from under her. Please, she whispered, we can fix this quietly, right? I tilted my head. You wanted the whole neighborhood to see this, didn't you? Let's give them what they came for. Within minutes, half the street was standing outside, phones out, recording as the fake cops were led to the patrol cars. Karen stood frozen, pale and humiliated. But what she didn't know What no one knew yet was that this wasn't the first time she'd tried something like this. I had been watching her for weeks, and this morning, she walked straight into my plan. Karen's lips trembled as the deputies read the impersonators their rights. She kept whispering, "This can't be happening," over and over, like she was trying to wake up from a nightmare. But it was real. Every neighbor was watching, recording, whispering. The self-proclaimed queen of the HOA was finally cornered. I turned to her calmly. "Karen, how long have you been running your little authority club?" She blinked fast, pretending not to understand. What are you talking about?" I stepped closer. "You think I don't know about the fake citations? The threats you've been leaving on doors? You even printed fake county seals on your notices." She shook her head violently. "No, I was just trying to maintain order. People don't follow the HOA rules." "You are the HOA rules, right?" I cut her off. "At least that's what you've been telling everyone." Her eyes darted toward the crowd. Neighbors she used to boss around were now whispering behind their phones, eyes wide. She could feel her control slipping through her fingers. I leaned in slightly and said, "You made one big mistake. You didn't check who owned this land before you came after me." Her eyes narrowed. "What are you saying?" "This house," I pointed to the porch, "and 3 others on this street. They're not under HOA jurisdiction. They were never part of your community zone. The county separated them 20 years ago." Her face went blank. "That's not possible. I have maps." "Yeah, fake ones," I said, holding up a folder the deputy handed me. "County records, signed by Judge Morton himself. You've been trespassing and extorting people on land you have zero claim over." The deputy beside me added, "We've already pulled her mail records, Sheriff. She's been collecting fake HOA fees through a private account." Karen's hands shot up defensively. "No, it's not like that. I was just trying to keep things clean here. These people," I interrupted, "trusted you. You lied to them, scared them, and tried to control their lives. That's not leadership, Karen. That's fraud." The crowd murmured louder. Someone from the back yelled, "You towed my car for having a garden gnome." Another voice, "She fined me $500 for painting my fence beige." Karen's knees went weak. Her voice cracked. "You can't do this to me. I'm the HOA president." I took one slow step forward, eyes steady. "Not anymore." She stumbled back as a deputy stepped behind her. The cold click of handcuffs echoed down the quiet street. And while everyone watched her being led to the patrol car, I said the line that made the whole crowd go silent. "You wanted to teach everyone a lesson, Karen. Well, today, you finally did." But as the car pulled away, I glanced at my phone, the live feed from my home cameras still rolling, and saw something strange. A man in a gray hoodie slipped out from behind Karen's SUV, whispered something to her through the window, then walked straight toward my house. My gut tightened. Whatever this was, it wasn't over yet. The man in the gray hoodie kept walking toward my porch like he belonged there. Everyone's eyes followed him, but he didn't care. He moved slow, calm, too calm for someone standing in front of patrol cars and flashing lights. I stepped forward, motioning the deputies to hold. "Sir, can I help you?" I called out. He looked up, a faint smirk on his face. "You already have, Sheriff Hayes," he said. His voice was deep, steady, almost rehearsed. Karen's car door cracked open just enough for her to shout, "Don't say anything." But the deputy quickly slammed it shut again. The man laughed under his breath. Too late for that. My instincts kicked in. This wasn't just some random neighbor. He had purpose. I recognized the faint outline of a radio wire behind his collar. "You law enforcement?" I asked carefully. He shook his head. "Private contractor. Hired security." "For who?" I pressed. He glanced toward the car where Karen sat cuffed. "For her," he said plainly. "Or at least, that's what she told me." The crowd murmured again, uneasy. One of the deputies moved closer to me. "Sheriff, you want us to take him in too?" I held up a hand. "Not yet." I turned back to the man. "You know she just sent 2 impostors to my door pretending to be cops, right?" He shrugged. "I don't get involved in her HOA drama. She paid for surveillance work. Wanted eyes on a suspicious homeowner. You. Surveillance." I repeated slowly. He nodded. "She gave me your plate number. your daughter's school name, your wife's car model, said you were dangerous. Said you used to be a sheriff who lost his badge for misconduct. The air went cold around us. Even the neighbors stopped whispering. I took a slow breath. She said what? He didn't blink. I didn't check it. Just followed orders. I stared at him, realizing how deep her lies had gone. Karen hadn't just faked WA power. She'd tried to destroy my name, my career, my family's safety. She wanted to erase me. I turned to the deputy beside me. Get my wife and daughter inside. Lock the doors. I want a full sweep of the property, every corner. Karen was shouting from the car now. He's lying. He's part of it too. But her voice was drowned out by the sound of engines starting and radios crackling. The man in the hoodie finally raised his hands. Look, Sheriff, I got files, everything she asked me to gather. You'll wanna see them. He handed me a small flash drive. I was told to delete it after today. Guess I'll let you decide what happens next. I took it slowly, sliding it into my pocket. You just changed the game, son. He nodded once and walked away, disappearing into the line of trees at the end of the street. I turned back toward the patrol car where Karen sat glaring at me through the glass. She mouthed one word, "You'll regret this." I didn't move. I just stared back. Because if that flash drive had what I thought it did, then this wasn't just about a power-hungry WA president. It was bigger, much bigger, and for the first time that morning, I realized, Karen wasn't the one pulling the strings. She was just the front. That night, the rain came hard, hammering against the windows like the world was trying to warn me. I sat alone in my office, the flash drive plugged into my laptop. Every folder opened like another punch to the gut. Emails, bank records, signed letters, all under the name HOA Management Board LLC. But the signature at the bottom wasn't Karen's, it was a man named Charles Denton, a city official who had been approving fake property audits for years. Karen wasn't the mastermind, she was their puppet, a loud, entitled distraction to keep homeowners quiet while the real crooks bought up land on paper behind their backs. My hand tightened around the mouse as I scrolled through a document labeled, Parcel Takeovers. My property was at the top of the list. They'd been planning to seize it through forged WA fines, slowly pushing families out, one notice at a time. I leaned back, jaw clenched. So that's your game, I whispered. The next morning, I called in a meeting at the county hall. Cameras, reporters, and half the town showed up. Everyone curious why the same sheriff who caught fake cops yesterday was now holding a press conference. Karen was there too, escorted in handcuffs. Her face was pale, lips pressed tight. She didn't speak. I stood at the podium, flash drive in hand. Yesterday, a woman used fear, fake authority, and lies to harass homeowners, I began. But today, we found out she wasn't alone. She was used by a network of officials who thought they could take our land, your land, by hiding behind a fake WA. Gasps rippled through the room. I held up the folder. These files show everything. Bank transfers, forged documents, fake signatures. And thanks to a brave contractor who came forward, we have proof. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. Karen buried her face in her hands. I looked right at her. You played your part, Karen. But you picked the wrong house to start with. By noon, warrants were issued. The real culprits, city officials, lawyers, and even a developer, were in custody by evening. Karen faced her charges too, but she'd finally broken down, agreeing to testify against them. That night, as I stood on my porch, the neighborhood was quiet again. My daughter ran up, holding her little stuffed bear. "Daddy, is the mean lady gone?" I smiled, kneeling to her level. "Yeah, sweetheart, she's gone." She looked at the sky and said softly, "Good. Now our house is safe again." I looked out over the land, wet grass glowing under the porch light, the flag in the yard fluttering lightly in the breeze. You know, I said to myself, I didn't fight for this country to watch people lose their homes to fear. And with that, I turned off the porch light, locked the door, and whispered the line that every viewer would remember. Justice doesn't need noise, it just needs proof. The screen would fade to black, but the message would stay. No one's above the law, not even a Karen with fake cops. The end. Subscribe my YouTube channel for more stories.